Welcome to this edition of Access Together. These shows are made possible through the combined efforts of Shelby County Schools and GHS-TV. The shows are hosted by the members of the community and utilize the staff and facilities of Germantown High School. If you would like to watch our live stream or get more information about these shows, log on to our website, ghstv.org. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the following presentation.
Welcome to Let's Talk Money. My name is Kelly Bolton, and I thank you for tuning in. We have the distinct pleasure of hosting our community's foremost leaders and entrepreneurs. In today's global competitive business, it's essential that companies set their products and services apart through effective branding. Positive public perception and opinion are critical for success. We're honored to have with us today Mr. Brian Sullivan. He's CEO of Sullivan Branding. He will share with us his insights on this important strategy. So without further ado, I welcome Brian to our program. Brian, it's good to see you again.
You too, thank you.
I will date both of us. We both went to high school at the same time, graduated at the same time, so we get to reconnect. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the company, kind of your background. What do y'all do?
Okay. We started a company in 2001 with actually a friend of mine from high school. We basically started out as a full-service advertising agency. And what that means really is that we have all the disciplines of communications under one roof. And we've been full service from the beginning, even when it was not cool to be full service. There was this trend towards sort of hyper-specialization there for a while. But we always felt like our clients benefited more from the all the different perspectives as it comes to communication. So we've got direct marketing, public relations, digital, creative, all of that in the same place.
Well, tell us, you said direct marketing, communications, digital, we've talked about branding, we've talked about advertising. Can you kind of break it down for me? Yeah,
so branding is really sort of getting involved in all of the touch points that a product or a service or a company would have with its customers, as well as employees and their prospects. But advertising is really just the act of developing a campaign to communicate a specific message. So people think of advertising really like print or television or radio, something like that. So we do all of those things as well, but we get involved just as much in internal communications. And you can make the argument that the most important audience that any company has is their employees. So they need to be aware of what the company stands for, what their mission, vision, what they're trying to do, how they want to treat their customers, that sort of thing. So we get involved in a lot of that as well.
So let me make sure I understand. Advertising is trying to get the word out, let everybody know what you do and how you do it. And then there's different ways you can advertise through these various ways, whether it's social media or
online
TV, flyers.
Exactly.
And then what you're saying is y'all feel like, and I guess the industry does, that it's equally as important for the employees to be communicated with properly, which not isn't necessarily, I guess, advertising, but it all comes out the same in the end, because if the employee understands the mission of the company, then they can relate that mission to their end user.
Exactly. And advertising has really changed a lot over the last certainly in the last 5 years, but in the last 10 or 15, a great deal. It was not always important, I think, for the employees to understand all of that. But now it's much more of a focus, and it's something that we really believe strongly in, even if it's just telling them what the promotional calendar is, as an example. I mean, the more that they're aware of what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, the better they'll be able to service their customers. So yeah, we think that's a really, really important audience. And advertising is also, directed at current customers as well as prospects, and trying to, sell more goods and services to people. So the number of channels has changed dramatically. I mean, it used to be that you had 5 or 6. You had television, print, radio, and now with digital and social, that you mentioned earlier, the channels are just exploding. And in my opinion, our business really hasn't changed a great deal in the sense that we really need to understand what it is, who we're talking to first, and then the message that we're trying to communicate with them. Just the challenge now becomes trying to figure out the best way to do that, because there's so many different ways to do it, and people's budgets aren't, what they used to be.
And then what's effective?
What is effective, and how do people want to be communicated with? Honestly, it's, we're all consumers, so, there's certain ways that you like to receive information, and I do as well. So trying to figure out what that is for big groups of people, it can be a challenge.
If you don't mind, I'd love to ask you your thoughts on using mail, because I'm one of those people. I come home, the first thing I do when I'm still standing in my suit at my kitchen counter, grab my mail, put it on the counter, and I sort through the junk mail.
Yeah.
I don't even look at it.
Yeah,
I
just throw it away.
I don't care how pretty it is. I don't look at it. I throw it away. Now, flip it over if there's a coupon or something on it for something I might use. I put it in a coupon pile. But everything gets thrown away. Don't look at it. Recycle immediately. At the end of the day, I look through all my emails. And I know I'm not like everyone, but I look through all my emails and I delete. I don't read it. If I took the time to read every flyer that came in the mail and every email, I wouldn't have time to do anything else.
Yeah.
So how do you, as an advertising firm, determine which users to send which to, because those don't hit me?
Yeah. It's kind of a classic challenge of our business, honestly, and it's just sort of the information overload. There's sort of if you think about if you're looking for a mortgage and you're listening to your radio, or you get an advertisement in the mail or an email, you might pay attention. If you're not looking for a mortgage,
That's
you
true.
won't.
And probably there's some subconscious element
Yes.
to this.
Yeah. So
And see, I don't watch commercials anymore either.
Yeah, a lot of
because
people
I
fast forward
fast
through
forward
that.
through everything.
Yes.
So I don't know, how do you advertise to me? How do you hit somebody like me who's not hitting any of that stuff?
Well, we have lots of other channels available to us, but the key is really trying to be in the right place at the right time. So when you are willing to accept a message, when you do sort of flip over that coupon, let's say that we know that you're a coupon cutter, then we may send you a coupon in the mail or something in the email that's related to that. But it's a big challenge, and there's lots of distractions right now. So the biggest consistency, being in the market consistently in lots of different places, so that we can learn over time how people want to receive information, as we can't just give up, so it really does require, there's sort of a science to that, and kind of understanding what things people are responding to.
And I guess everyone doesn't respond to the same thing.
Exactly right, yeah. And a lot of times when we talk about branding, really what we're talking about is brand engagement. So we're trying to figure out ways to engage people, and we can do it one-on-one now. Honestly, we can send you an email, we can have a conversation with you, we can promote a post on Facebook, you can respond to that. So there's lots of different ways to get to people. And you just have to learn over time which ones are the most effective and every one of them is different. Healthcare information and financial services information, people want them very differently.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think about myself as a consumer and how, I still remember the commercials that we saw as a child.
Yeah.
I could still sing the commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be pretty, but I could sing it. So it is a whole new world. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. So if our viewers will stick around, we will continue this discussion with Brian Sullivan. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Germantown High School, an international baccalaureate creative and performing arts optional school, a destination school for students who are going places.
Our students are of the highest caliber when it comes to their academics and knowledge.
The IB program is a very rigorous program.
You were challenged in a way that you thought you couldn't be challenged. You succeeded, something that other kids may not have thought they could do.
They're accepted to colleges that are just, dream colleges for so many people.
Germantown High School offers a CAPA program, the Creative and Performing Arts program.
When I first came here, I saw the television studio and I was just amazed at what all I saw.
Kids do everything, that they're taught every detail that has to do with theater arts and creative arts.
I love a lot of things about Germantown High School, but primarily what I love is the athletics. There's something exciting around every single corner.
We probably are one of the most diverse high schools in the state of Tennessee, maybe the United States.
I would never doubt about sending your child to Germantown High School.
This high school is something not like any other high school that we have.
There's definitely fun in the work. We find fun in everything we do.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Money. If you're just tuning in, I am Kelly Bolton, and today we've been talking with Brian Sullivan, who's the CEO of Sullivan Branding. We're going to learn a little bit more about the critical role branding plays in corporate success. So before we took a break, we were just talking about kind of different ways that you can advertise, and we were talking about commercials when we were kids. How they were smart. I mean, that was a great way. I'm sure they were very expensive,
yes,
but we still hear the jingles. Well, I was going to tell you about this experience that I had recently. I was doing some shopping online for Christmas. Put a bunch of stuff in the shopping cart because I was just considering it. Didn't want to forget what they were. So I left the site and went on to do something else. The next day, I received no less than 4 to 5 emails from the same company reminding me that I had stuff in my shopping cart. First of all, how did they know it? And that to me kind of was smart. Even though I told you I'd delete everything, when I saw 4 from the same company pop up, it made me stop to look. Was a little annoyed, but I stopped to look and I went back. And so now I'm wondering, if I wait long enough, are they going to send me a coupon to try to entice me to buy it?
Possibly. You'd be terrified if you knew the amount of information that's available on you online. It's pretty scary what we have available to us, but it allows us to really, send you information that we know that you're interested in. So that sort of, hey, you left this in your shopping cart thing is very, very effective. And especially if you've done business with that company before and you had signed in, then they have
Okay, so that's how they knew my email address.
Absolutely. And even if they don't know your email address, there's something called retargeting. So if you are at whatever Target and you are on their website, you put a few things in your cart, you've not signed in, then you go to read the news on CNN and you notice that there's a Target ad with the stuff that you had in your cart. Yeah, that's called retargeting.
How does that
and it's
happen?
They can follow you around. It's sort of a technical answer, but they just know where you're going. There's some pixels.
Well, I've
that they
noticed
place on
that
you.
now when I go to read an article online, if I happen, because I do just about all of the shopping I do on the internet now because it's just easy. I can, at 12 o'clock at night, I can order, 5 rolls of paper towels and they'll be on my doorstep in 24 hours. So, but I've noticed every time I go to do some reading, over in the corner, it's something that I looked at the day before. So it's kind of that visual that's in my mind, that subliminal kind of message, and I've been driven back to go look because I've seen it.
It's very effective.
It's annoying because it's in the middle of my article, but it's working.
Yeah, it is. It's very effective, and it's just one tool available, but it's something that you kind of have to be doing now, especially given the number of distractions that people have, and all of our attention spans are sort of becoming shorter and shorter. So you may really indeed be interested in buying that product, you just weren't motivated at the time to do it. So the more times that you see it, the more opportunities there are for you to purchase that, and so they figure they'll just place it in front of you until you do it, and give you a couple weeks, and they'll leave you alone after that. But it's a very effective tool, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. You really have to find ways and opportunities where people are, the message is appropriate, but they're also interested in receiving it at that particular time. So it may take them 6 or 7 times before, but the mood may strike you in the middle of the night and you're reading something, and they're there.
And see, for me, that's been the most effective way to market to me, because I'm on there and I'm reading and I can't get away from it because I have to pass it by instead of throwing it away or just hitting delete. It's been pretty effective. And when we were talking about branding, I'm kind of interested in how that works into all of this, because I'm kind of relating some of this to me as a consumer. I'm attracted to an interesting brand, and I'm thinking more logo. You know, if it looks appealing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bright colors. It can just be an interesting font or the way that it's written out. I'm drawn to that, and then it kind of becomes etched in my mind, and I can almost see a font in one thing and think, I saw that in an ad for something else.
Yeah.
But I think you can get an exclusive to certain fonts too, can't you?
Not necessarily certain fonts, but I mean, you can create your own, certainly. But design does, and look and feel plays a really, really big part in certainly how people feel about certain things and react to it. And I mean, brands spend a lot of time trying to create an image for themselves, so the one that you would want to associate with, and they spend a lot of, associating with, certain sponsorships that they're doing, or the way that they've designed their logo or their pieces, and the things that they're involved with, things that they say online,
socially. That's interesting, what
Yeah.
you just said about the things they comment socially or they sponsor. I don't really think about that as being part of advertising, but I guess it is. You want to associate with people that maybe associate with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We believe at our business anyway that sponsorships is a critical part of any integrated marketing plan, honestly. And we have someone who's dedicated to doing just that. Making sure you're involved with the right things that are giving you exposure to the people that you want to get exposure to, and you're sort of the association is really strong as well. If you think about like a Yeti cooler as an example. You see stickers that people put on their car, and it's a cooler.
And that's really cool that they've driven people to put a sticker for a cooler on their car.
Because they've developed this, they're associated with a certain lifestyle that people want, to project. So it's a really powerful,
and it's smart
powerful
for them.
tool.
I know stores in town will give out stickers of their store, and then the kids love it. They put it on their notebooks, and I guess it's a free way for them to advertise. They give you a sticker, and you've just advertised their company.
Yeah, but I think the piece behind that I find the most interesting is that someone would be compelled to do that because it says something about them. So they want that association.
That's really an interesting thing. I can think of vacation spots or golf courses or that sort of thing. Yeah, 30A, beautiful job in certain golf courses. People want to wear the logo that says Torrey Pines or 30A. Well, that's interesting. Well, I know we've got about a minute more. Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers about branding?
I think really, that term is sort of overused now, but brand engagement is really the key part. So if you're in whatever business that you're in, finding ways to engage with your customers or prospects, employees is really the key. And social media is a really good place to do that because it provides an opportunity for kind of a one-on-one conversation. But
well, I know we've got about 30 seconds, so when we come back, I want you to be prepared to answer this question. Why shouldn't a company do it on their own? Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's time for a break. When we return, we'll finish our discussion with Brian Sullivan, so please stay tuned.
Wow. College already?
Yeah. We gotta go.
I love you.
I love you too, Daddy. And thanks for everything.
Gratitude. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
And I wish you joy and happiness, but above all this, I wish you love. And I will always love you.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Money. Today we are honored to have Brian Sullivan, and we just have a little time left, so we're going to jump back into our conversation. Brian, let's talk a little bit more about social media and also the question I asked you about why somebody shouldn't just do it on their own.
Yeah, well, a lot of people associate, social media with just, I'll just get a Facebook page and I don't have to do a website and I can do all that myself. Well, I mean, it's not, you do need a presence online, but the reason you would pay somebody other than do it yourself is really to generate a much greater return. Can you do it yourself? Yes, you can, but you're not more than likely going to get the same kind of return that a professional in that area would be able to offer you. I mean, we spend hours sort of testing different ways to write a subject line or different ways to write a headline for a social media post, and so that we can optimize to the best combination of words. So you could do all that on your own, but it's kind of like representing yourself at trial,
Or doing your own brain surgery.
It's not a particularly effective way to do it.
But I think where we see small to medium-sized businesses is, they struggle financially on how they're going to make it, and what's the best use of their resources.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to say, well, this part I can do on my own because I can send out an email, I can make a brochure, I can pick a zip code, and I would think that the reason people would do it on their own is to save the money, because I'm sure you're not free.
Right.
Obviously, you're a for-profit business.
Yeah.
So why would somebody pay you to do it and not save the money?
Yeah, I think
doing it themselves?
that sort of implies that marketing is an expense versus an investment,
and it's always looked at as an expense to the company that doesn't choose to market. They choose it as an expense that they don't feel like they can pay.
Yeah, they have, and that's why it's one of the first budgets cut, whenever things go. But now more and more I think people are looking at it as an investment, and there's an expectation of a return. So 10 years ago, people would say, 50% of my budget doesn't work, I just don't know what 50% it is. You can't get away with that now. So, every campaign that we do has a quantifiable goal. A return, 5%, 10%, we want X number of applications or whatever that is. There's a quantifiable number to that, so that we're working towards that. So it's not just you're going to go spend $10,000 and get nothing for it. I mean, there should be an expectation of a commercial return with that.
Well, and I think that's a good way to look at it, is that it's an investment into your business, it's not an expense.
Yeah.
And who do you think is the best suitable person to make that investment? Would it be you or to pay someone else? Because I think what I talk to people about all the time that are managing their money and making decisions on what to do is, what is your time worth?
Yeah.
So if you spend 40 hours on a marketing campaign, if you pay somebody for 40 hours, I bet you they can do a lot more in 40 than you can, because they've got the intellectual capital.
Absolutely.
And now, you save money, but what could you have been doing with your 40 hours where your expertise was really better used?
Yeah, presumably your expertise is in whatever your business is in, and not necessarily in marketing per se.
Exactly.
You may have taken a couple classes in college or something, but there's no substitute for having experts working on your behalf.
Right. Well, what about social media? How can someone, like with Twitter, Instagram, I've got a daughter that's in high school, and she gets, once she's been to a store, she gets pictures of dresses and clothes or purses because she's logged into something.
Yeah.
So she's getting inundated, because a lot of times I'll get her to come down and she'll say, "Mom, look at this purse." I'm like, "How did you know about it?" Well, she said they sent me an Instagram message, or Twitter.
Yeah, social is really interesting. It's you can't avoid it. I mean, it's here and it's not going anywhere. And brands are really, some are better suited for Instagram, some better suited for Facebook, but ones that are doing it well are really, it goes back to the engagement I was talking about earlier. They're having conversations with their customers. Those people want information about that company. If you think like Patagonia as an example, they donated all their sales from their Black Friday to grassroots global environmental organizations. So people are getting information about those types of things from that company. So it's not just you're being inundated with stuff that you hear buy, but here are things, here are reasons for you to be interested in and engaged with us. These are things that we, think are important, and therefore you probably do as well, or should.
Yeah. Well, what about somebody get into a career in advertising or marketing? I mean, is there opportunities there? And if so, what would you recommend someone study? And if someone has been in another profession, is it a profession that you can transition to?
Yeah, most of the people that in our business, we have lots of different disciplines within that. So you can get a journalism degree in public relations, you can get a marketing degree, you can get a graphic design or something like that. There's no one single way to do it. We hire people that we think are smart and that can get it, and those people usually find a way to add value to our client's business. But I think some, passion for something within our business, like social, really does help. Otherwise, it's just a job. Yeah.
And what about, years ago, I talked to quite a few young people when I graduated, and you did too. A lot of people got degrees in marketing.
Yeah.
And then they got out and didn't have a clue what they were going to do with it.
Yeah.
They just liked the marketing degree in the business school because they thought it was just a cool degree to get.
Yeah.
And then they got out, and we were hearing that they were having, probably not even as much maybe when I was graduating, maybe a few years, maybe 10 years even after that, they couldn't find jobs because it was one of those periods everybody had cut marketing budgets.
Yeah.
And so are there real opportunities now in marketing, or do you feel like the field is inundated?
Yeah, I still think there are
Mhm.
real opportunities, especially in something like social media. Like since we spent some time talking about that, a lot of companies, bigger companies in particular, are taking that stuff in house. They're doing it themselves. They're hiring their own experts to basically be on staff. So if you have an aptitude for something like that, then there's a good opportunity there, both on the corporate side as well as on the agency side. Just the difference is you're working on multiple clients versus a single client. But yeah, marketing is I think it's a good degree in the sense that there's a business component to it, because as a professional services firm, we have a need to understand how our clients make money, so we can help them, advise them on how communications can help them make more money. So I think the business sort of wrapper makes a lot of sense personally.
Well, I can't say that I disagree at all. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, quite frankly. I mean, I can't think of any business that doesn't need to be branded or advertised or marketed, no matter what it is you do.
Absolutely.
Well, I wish we had a lot more time. And it was great to see you again
You too.
after all
Thank
these
you.
years.
I appreciate it.
So we want to thank our guest, Brian Sullivan, for being with us today. And for more information on our show, you can check out our website at GHS-TV.org. We're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. We hope you will join us again next month on Let's Talk Money.